Hi, I'm Katie Gross. I'm a senior. I played tennis, and I've also played track and basketball at Cary.
My name is Sophia Seberg. I'm a sophomore, and I do track and cross country.
My name is Denver Gear. I am a senior, and I do wrestling and swim team.
My name is Kennedy Manning, and I play basketball. I'm going to play flag football and run track, and I used to play tennis and tackle football here.
My name is Amanda Schutzley. I'm the boys and girls tennis coach here at Cary-Grove, and this will be my 19th year coaching, 19 years coaching girls, 15 years coaching boys, so been in it for a little bit.
Being involved in sports, I think especially at the high school level, it teaches you a sense of dependability. You really get a sense for teamwork. It's like you take these lessons that you take from sports and you can apply them to everyday life.
The competition that I got from playing sports has definitely transferred to my academics because I really want to be at the top and at the highest level of academically where I could be, and I think that has a lot to do with sports.
Learning how to be a teammate learns so many social skills in my outside life, like learning how to be a leader and also just learning how to support others. And especially in school, it has also taught me things like dedication, time management, and grit.
I think the most important quality for an athlete to have is leadership. Again, not everyone can be the most vocal leader, but people can lead by example, and I think that will definitely cultivate a team. They will show you respect, and that's kind of what can make a team reach its highest potential, I believe.
I feel like always giving full effort. I feel like when, especially in a sport, you can't give half effort and expect the full playing time and everything like that. And I feel like a lesson I've taken away, especially from my own team now, is you have to give a full effort no matter what, and you always have to contribute, because if you're not, you can't expect success in what you're doing.
The main difference between me and my brothers is you don't get to reap the rewards. You see the football team has won 2 state titles with them both on the team. And that's insane. That's great for them. But my grandma would always say cross country is the sport that you never hear about. You don't get usually all of that rewards and all the honor that the football team does, even if they were bad, So I feel the main difference is, being recognized.
And there's a double header with the guys, and sometimes I'll get a laugh. I'm like, hey, do you want to come to our game? It'll be a good one tonight, the top 2 teams. And they're just kind of maybe, I'll be there for the guys' game. Maybe I'll show up for yours. And the Friday night games, they would always have a full student section, and ours would be our 5 friends in the front row. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing, and people necessarily not taking us as seriously.
There were certainly guys that respected me and thought of me as a leader, but for the most part, when I tried to take any sort of leadership role, it was sort of laughed off.
I always felt I had more respect as a basketball player than I did as a tennis player. I always felt tennis, people assumed I just did it because every other girl in the grade did it, whereas basketball, it was oh, you're actively pursuing that sport because it's more male-dominated, so it seemed a little more against the grain to pursue it.
I've definitely heard stereotypes and biases to being a woman. A lot of it's you're not physically capable of doing this, or your sport is not watched, so why would you try or anything like that?
They're not as competitive. They don't take it as seriously. They're emotional, and we are, okay? I'm not going to deny that. I will totally be we are wired different, and we are emotional. But there's ways to deal with that.
I'm pretty tall as I am, so I feel just if I'm in public, a lot of people are oh, do you play basketball? Do you play basketball? And I'm no, I don't. I play volleyball. It's just a common stereotype, I feel for tall people to play basketball. And it's obviously in any sport you can play, whether you're short or whether you're tall. And even in volleyball, or in basketball, any sport that, there's a position for everyone, whether you're short or whether you're tall.
I think the biggest one is just that women aren't as strong as men. And I think gymnasts especially have proven that wrong time and time again. Physically, we are some of the strongest people, but mentally it's one of the hardest sports to do too. So I think it just shows that we are as strong as guys and women can do it.
People a lot of the time think, especially when it comes to basketball, people think female athletes aren't as strong. They say you can't jump as high, oh, you can't dunk. That's not a fun game to watch. These guys are doing all these cool things that they don't think we can do. But then, you look at our records, and ours is higher than the guys, so we're winning more games, and I don't really know. I guess people underestimate us maybe.
Females are definitely more like bonded together, where with the men it's like competitiveness. Like, I'm gonna beat you, that's why I'm better. And in women's, it's like they all come together, but in men's, you really just have to push yourself to be better than the next person.
With girls, I got to give them that time to share together before practice. So they get 10 minutes of extra social time when they come out to the courts, because they need that. They need to get their day out. They need to share.
We go to like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and all those places right after practice, and we just talk and hang out, and we have such a great time, and we don't worry about sports, because I think a lot of people think that that's all you have to talk about with your teammates, but we like say, no, we're not going to talk about sports. We're just going to leave it for practice.
Girls will just chat with each other, and even though they're about to go out there and wrestle each other, like, they're still very nice with each other. They're still talking to each other like they're human beings.
Boys, they come out to the courts, they go straight to the courts.
Relying on my teammates, especially with my other captain, we're really close. And so it's like we're on the court together at the same time. It's like if I'm struggling to like hit a ball in or like block or like something like that, she's always there to like encourage me and like pick my head up almost, because I get down on myself.
I think when it comes to competition, girls, even on other teams, are super supportive of each other. I think guys tend to be a lot more focused on winning, whereas the girls tend to be a lot more focused on like having the experience.
You have to be like in sync with one another on the court. You have to know each other's style of play.
I definitely have the support during like all my sports that I play. So definitely the support will help me keep pushing. We'll like push each other to be the best we can. And like if you like get down on yourself, you can like be there to like get you back up.
There's obviously a lot more male coaches out there than female coaches. So I've had some really great men coaches as a woman athlete. I've had some horrible men coaches. Those I wouldn't go to, you know. But the ones that I felt took the time to understand, definitely go to them, because they can share their knowledge with you.
It definitely takes longer to get like familiar with like a male coach, because like they gotta know me first, because I can be a little weird. But then I feel more comfortable with like a female coach, because I can like talk to them about other problems maybe.
One of the struggles that I've had these past 4 years is that because the team is a guys' team, the coaches are teaching us in a way that focuses on what works mostly for guys.
I'd say I've definitely had a lot more male coaches. I think I maybe only one woman coach. That was my high school coach freshman year. She was like a role model to me. She was so powerful and like a winning program and all of that. And she knew what she wanted and she would work for it.
I feel like female coaches, they just like, obviously they went through the same path you did. And so they know like the difference, like especially with mental health nowadays, it's really hard. Like balancing mental health and your sport is like a big thing. And I feel like the female coaches are more understanding with that compared to the male coaches who are just like go, go, go and like just want everything done.
Male coaches are just a lot more like intense. I always remember like as a kid, there definitely was some like, oh, girls are emotional, girls are, you know, they make comments like that. But honestly, all of the male coaches that I've had have really tried to focus on our strengths as girls and try to like rile us up and, you know, empower us, which obviously has been a positive experience.
I believe with a male coach, it's definitely harder to connect with them on like a one-to-one basis. But I've known my coach for so long, since like 6th grade, that I'm pretty good with him, which it's kind of ironic because my one woman coach, she is like the hardest disciplinarian on my team. But I feel like at the end of the day, like I feel like more like trusted, like she knows what I'm going through rather than my male coach.
Female coaches are more harsh on the girls than the men are, because they know what a girl's going through and they know how to handle it better, so they can like understand while still being tough, where the men are like, I don't really know what's going on, I have to be nice, because what if I'm mean and then they're disappointed or something?
Like, they understand more of the emotional side of gymnastics. Like, they're usually the ones who would comfort us when we're upset or having a hard day, especially my female coach now. She'll, like, take us aside, ask us what's wrong. And the male coaches, it's more of, more of just the gymnastics side. And my one coach, especially our head coach, when we get upset, he's kind of like, I don't really know what to do.
A female coach can like relate to what you've done, like the challenges you're facing, what you're trying to achieve, and like every like aspect of your life basically. They tend to understand girl drama and stuff like that on teams more and are able to solve it better.
I feel like a male coach is more like harsh and like more down to earth and like ready to like, get played. But like a female coach, like nicer. Like they can be like harsh and like mean, but definitely like female coaches are more like easygoing and like not as tough on you.
We have women who are present as coaches. I don't think we have enough women in the leadership and administrative roles making the decisions.
You know, myself as a female coach for girls and a female coach for boys, I will tell you, I am in the minority during both seasons. Both seasons. During boys' season, I'm probably the only one there. And it's, you know, I feel it. I do feel it. I would like to see more female coaches. I would like to see more female mentorship, whether that is within the building or that you go out and get structured mentorship brought in, you know, kind of like sometimes we will go to coaches conference. I think that's important to have females come in and to, you know, help us. How can we grow female sports? How can we grow as coaches coaching female athletes?
No, you never see like women's sports being like amazing. I mean, except it's like if it's like a female dominated sport like volleyball, of course you'll get that. But you'll never see like a girls basketball team being more popular than a men's basketball team unless they just like really stink. So I feel like there needs to be more representation because we do the equal amount of work, but again, we're just never going to be as good as them. And I feel like that is a major catalyst to why people don't do sports.
I think that we've seen more visibility of women's sports since I was a young player. I couldn't find women's sports on television, and now I can see women's sports if I want to. And I think that visibility, I think, is one of the most important parts.
So I actually think the growing like visibility of women's sports is super cool because I feel like we should get the same representation as men because they overpower a lot of sports on TV. You see football, basketball, baseball, hockey all the time for men. But I feel like other than some college sports, women don't get the same representation. And I feel like both sports are super cool to watch in their own ways. And at times I feel like women and men's sports are completely different how they play. So I think representation for both is super important and super cool.
It's so refreshing to see so many women being able to put in the time and the effort to be great at a sport. And I'm just so glad that they're getting so much more recognition.
There's a lot more representation and visibility, I think, especially with, well, I think in both, like Caitlin Clark for basketball, she broke a record, an all-time record that a man had held. I feel like there's a lot of great female athletes like in the Olympics, and they're talked about more, and I like that.
I think that the more representation of women's sports is great because it makes it so much more competitive. The younger girls are really wanting to get into the sport, which makes like the level closer to competition because sometimes it's like, okay, this team's really good and the other team's really bad, but now they're getting really close because more women want to get into the sport.
We need to go out and get better sponsorship for women's sports so that they can have the funding, they can have equal facilities, you know, they can have those things that the men's sports have. Definitely, you can see a growth in women's coaching. I do believe there should be more women's coaching in women's sports, absolutely. And I feel like there's definitely a disservice in not getting more of them in there.
I have lost matches to guys on this team that are first-year wrestlers, that are younger than me, that are less experienced than me, and I have let that be soul-crushing because I felt like I should be better than them. But somebody who has more like just brute strength, it's hard to combat that, and you can't compare yourself to the people that you aren't actually competing against.
In the summer, I swam on like a co-ed recreational team, and it's hard to see them going like way faster times than you. That was hard, but I think it's just like recognizing like, oh, they're faster, like that's okay.
I compare myself to the woman side of things. Like whenever I'm in my races, don't look at the men's stuff because I know from playing football, I know that the men's bodies are like on a totally different level than women's. So I can't look at that, and I just have to base myself off the women's stuff.
Your strength in relationship to them, your skill in relationship to them doesn't define you.
You're going to be good enough. Like, just because it may not look that way, you're still a good athlete, you're still a good person, and like you can't forget that, or else you're never going to get better at your sport or even in academics or anything. You need to understand that.
If you put your mind to it, you can do it. I never thought I would actually be able to play Division I basketball, but when I moved back here, I just got my head set on what I wanted to do and was able to see it through.
The second you find yourself criticizing someone or something or calling someone weird or whatever, obviously that's so normalized that we don't think much of it, but taking the time to examine, like, why am I feeling the need to come at this person is really important, especially as women, because we feel the need often to take down other women because we feel, knocked down a peg.
We don't give women enough credit that there are things we pay more attention to detail. We are better listeners. We have better camaraderie and we care more about our teammates. Therefore, our teams are stronger. And they're willing to work hard if you set the precedence and you show them why. They want to know why. They want to trust you and they want to know why. And if you show that to them and you can set the tone and bring that energy and are willing to do that as a coach as well, they'll be there for you.
Just keep pushing, even if you don't like it, with anything like school, sports, you just gotta keep pushing, try your best, and if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world, you can get it back next time.
As long as you are trying your hardest, people will notice you and people will like you and want you to play for their team because they know that you're not gonna quit, you're just gonna keep pushing.